They be saying some of the weirdest stuff, man. They had this one commercial, man, with Harby's. What is it? Harby's, something about we got the beef, we got the meats.
Dear Ringo, I have just one small question for you. What the fuck is Harby's? I ain't never heard of no place in the world called Harby's. I'm quite certain you meant this.
Arby's, we have the meats.
That's what it's called. Not no goddamn Harby's. The fuck, dude?
Read, nigga, read!
You ever seen that commercial on YouTube about Harvey's or something like that?
It's Arby's, not Harby's. There's no H in front of it. Furthermore, they also play the commercials all over national TV. Don't you have cable?
And you're like, we got the meats. We got plenty meats. We'll put meats all inside of it so you can eat the meats. I'm like, what? Pause. Whoa. What kind of crazy commercial is that?
What kind of crazy commercial is that? It's for the Arby's roast beef sandwich chain. What else would it be? Go check them out. They're delicious.
Let me see if I could contact somebody that's still on the 9 to 5. You like how they doing Jeopardy and you kind of contact them? You could contact somebody for help. I'm going to see if I could contact somebody right now.
Hold up just one cotton picking minute. Did this dude just say what I think he said? Let's run that again.
You like how they doing Jeopardy and you kind of contact them? You could contact somebody for help.
That's
This fool really just said you can ask for help on Jeopardy. Last I checked, Jeopardy was a quiz show where a trio of contestants compete by answering clues in the form of a question and are awarded money for each correct response. In addition, you can also find daily doubles along the way and put in custom wagers which allow you to potentially double your money. But I do not recall at any point in the 40 plus years the show in question has been on the air any contestants ever being able to call somebody for help. I believe the show you're referring to is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. One of the original lifelines from the Regis Philbin and Meredith Vieira eras, which is actually still used today, is Phone a Friend, where you are allotted 30 seconds to ask your partner the question you're stuck on, and they give you what they think the answer is. That is where you contact for help, not on Jeopardy, you inept, airheaded dipshit.
You fat-blooded idiot! You worm! You stupid dog! You fat throwback!
See, as men, we deal with the BS every day when we go to work. We're on the plantation when we go to work. Most
Plantation? What plantation? Can you please explain to me this quote-unquote plantation you're referring to?
of you brothers in the chat, you know what it is, what it's like when you have to go to work and deal with the BS. You know what I mean? You're on the plantation. You're the one that goes through the struggle.
What struggle? Work is not always a struggle, sir. It highly depends on what you do for a living. Now, I can understand if it were a blue-collar job which requires hard labor, such as construction, package handling, etc. But not all jobs are the same. Some people love their jobs. They love it so much to the point they don't even consider it a job, let alone a struggle. But regardless, everyone has to work and put in a certain amount of hours per week because guess what? If you don't work, you don't eat. Had you ever thought about that, you goofy bastard? Now, there are some exceptions, such as people who were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, i.e., they were exposed to significant wealth at an early age. But that is a very small minority of people in this country. So what the fuck are you talking about, you douchebag?
You got to build yourself up as a man. Why would you subject your woman to the same slavery? Why? Why subject your woman, who you call your wife, to slavery? Because having a day job, having any sort of job where you have to punch a clock is slavery.
Slavery? The fuck you mean having a job is slavery?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Why did I have a funny inkling he would get to this point? Dude, having a job is not fucking slavery. It seems as if you've adopted one of LeBron James' talking points, especially since he spoke about the same thing by claiming that being a professional athlete is somehow akin to slavery, all because the coaches are white. Do you even know what actual slavery was? During slavery, people were kidnapped against their will from the motherland. They were forced onto slave ships and brought to the Americas. They endured hard labor by picking cotton, erecting buildings, and so on and so forth. They did so while in temperatures as high as 115 degrees. Furthermore, they weren't paid a cent for their hard work. To make matters worse, the slave owners, which were both white and black, FYI, would beat any uncooperative or rebellious slaves until they couldn't move anymore. And if they tried to escape, then the slave owners would come after them one way or another, sometimes using attack dogs. On top of that, the slaves were fed the unwanted scraps from pigs, such as pig intestines, aka chitlins, pig's feet, hog maw, etc., while the slave owners kept the best parts of the meat for themselves: ham, bacon, sausage, etc. The reason I'm bringing all this up is because there are far more contrasts than there are connections between having a job and slavery. First of all, as I've already stated, slaves never received any type of compensation for their strenuous work. At least in modern times, people usually get paid for doing their duties on their job. Depending on the job, it may be every 2 weeks, every week, or one may get paid under the table, i.e., the employer pays them in cash. Second, you get something called a lunch break for usually a half an hour. This period gives you a chance to either rest your bones and eat the lunch you either purchased or brought from home, or relax and collect your thoughts or do other things, such as create plans for the future or whatever. And third, if you don't like your job for whatever reason, you can choose to quit at any time. Slaves never had that luxury. If they even tried to so much as escape the plantation, they would be hunted down and either brought back or beaten within an inch of their lives. Is any of this getting through to you, Donald? Many people have struggled just to find a job, and you trying to compare it to slavery is nothing but a slap in the face to those people. How fucking dare you? As the white-pilled individual that I am, of course I'm aware that I don't always look forward to going to work every single day, but I know that it's necessary in order to be able to do the things money requires. That's just life. It's like that for everyone, with very few exceptions. But unlike you, I'm not gonna bitch and complain about it non-stop. Instead, I implement it into my everyday routine.
At the end of the day, I don't care if you're getting a paycheck. It's slavery.
I don't care if you're getting a paycheck. Would you rather work for free, dumbass? Like the slaves did?
Because you don't want to be there. You have to go there because you're trying to provide.
It's not about whether or not you want to be there. You really don't have a choice. You signed up for the job, and now your requirement is to show up to it. You made a commitment upon being hired. That's the whole point of having a job: to show up on time, do your duties, get paid, and go home. What did you think it was supposed to be? A trip to Disneyland? What the hell else did you expect?
I'm trying to get y'all to understand that you have to live your life in a way where you're more or less separated from the system and more so doing what you got to do.
Blah, 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 blah. Get to the point.
You as a man, you're supposed to create ways, give her ideas on how to make money right from home.
I'm assuming you're referring to work at home jobs or running your own business. Well, let me say this to you. When you try to create a new business, 9 times out of 10 it will fail. Even though it may come in handy for producing a second line of income, there is no guarantee the business you're trying to develop will flourish right off the bat. In other words, it doesn't typically just happen overnight. This is why it's always important to work a 9-to-5 job. It doesn't have to be forever or for the rest of your life, just until you're able to establish a stable enough foothold towards the business you're trying to create. Having a typical job is extremely necessary. There's no way around it. You can't rush trying to run a business. These things take time.
You understand me? We live in the information age. We live in a time where there's social media time.
And that doesn't mean anything, sir. Just because this is the information age doesn't mean everyone plans on participating in online employment or working from home. It's like the equivalent of online dating. Just because it exists doesn't mean that everyone will engage in it. Even though the percentage of people working from home has risen in the past decade or so, said percentage are still in the minority. Additionally, there's something that needs to be taken into consideration: the presence of online scams. For example, there are scams for certain jobs that will require some amount of payment as a part of the application. There are others that give off the false impression of making a fortune within a day, similar to when you encounter catfish on dating sites with their fake profiles. You know for certain you're getting catfished by a job if any of these apply or you're seeking online employment. There are even jobs that require you to pay via cryptocurrency, wire transfer services, etc. I had this happen once, and when I discovered it was a scam, I discontinued the process. So in short, my answer is no. You cannot rely solely on looking for work at home jobs due to the possible connection to scammers. With that said, let's continue.
There is so many opportunities online for you to make money, where you can pull your woman out of that damn workforce and have her at home doing what a woman's supposed to do.
So you're basically saying women shouldn't be working. They should only stay home and cook, clean, and be housewives by taking care of the kids, etc. What is this, 1957? Has it ever dawned upon you that ever since the beginning of the 20th century, women have been fighting tooth and nail to be able to work? They have also been fighting to reach the same level of equality and other rights as men. Does Rosie the Riveter ring a bell? So, according to you, only men are supposed to be the breadwinners. That's not how it's supposed to work, sir.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
If you keep a woman at a clock on a job, she's going to develop a masculine frame where she's going to have this mindset of feeling that she's the provider and she's doing all this stuff, and now you're going to have a rebellious woman.
The fuck you mean she's gonna develop a masculine frame and become rebellious just because she's making her own income? Boy, you sound crazier than a hyena on crack. You know what? I'm done with this tomfoolery. Next!
They look at all of us brothers as broke, not realizing that just in the 50s and 40s, you had to drink out of a certain water fountain. Think about that.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Sir, we are living in the 21st century. It's old news. Who cares? Let it go.
Wow. And yet, we got our women talking about they divesting. I'm divesting, so let me get this straight. You going right back into the hands of your oppressor.
Divesting. right back into the arms of your oppressors. Yeah, okay, whatever, dude. I said this before and I'll say it again. Love is love. You love whoever you choose to. Race and skin color should not make any damn difference or be any type of obstacle or deterrent in this present day world. The distant ancestors of these present day white men who have been oppressors, slave owners, mob members, etc., have been dead for a long time. In fact, the white men living today, for the most part, don't even like thinking about the atrocious, horrible things their long deceased ancestors did to black people. Most normal white people of today are not even thinking about harming black people and others on a large scale, with very few exceptions. If that were truly the case, then you would hardly see any interracial relationships or even friendships anywhere. If that were truly the case, there would have absolutely been no changes or improvements in race relations to the point it has reached now. Hell, I probably wouldn't even be able to enter any of my favorite bars, lounges, coffee shops, restaurants, or any of the other fun spots I attend on a regular basis if Jim Crow were still active to this day. Now, granted, I don't live in the South, but the same policies still apply everywhere. But in your case, black women are not dating no goddamn oppressors. I don't know where you got this stupid ass shit from, but whatever. Let's keep it going.
Wow, that's amazing. And then you got brothers talking about, well, I don't want the black woman. I'm going to go get me a white woman.
I mean, why not? Everyone is entitled to have options and ethnic variety, especially if you're having difficulties finding a quality partner from your own group. Beggars can't be choosers, you know, because at the end of the day, on a personal level, I seek a woman who not only carries surface level beauty, but also has shared mutual interest, is respectful and cooperative, preferably a sense of humor, and is overall a joy to be around. Ultimately, if the woman is my type, I'll still become titillated by her, regardless of what color she is. I desire a woman who loves me just as much as I love her, and we're both compatible at the same time. Simple as that. But let's continue.
Really? I guess you don't remember what happened to Emmett Till.
Emmett Till?
You know what? Fuck you!
Are you shitting me? I know doggone well you're not just bring up no Emmett Till.
What the fuck that gotta do with me?
You tell his ass, big worm, because Emmett Till ain't got a motherfucking thing to do with me. Thus, there was absolutely no reason for you to bring it up. This has to be one of the biggest low blows you could ever deliver to people who choose to engage in interracial dating. As if that's supposed to have anything to do with us living almost a quarter century deep in the 21st century. That has to be the biggest slap in the face to the landmark decision of Loving versus Virginia from 1967. Bet you forgot about that, didn't you, you fucking delusional ass twat? Do you not realize that the Emmett Till case, which occurred in Mississippi in 1955, was one of the most horrific racist incidents in American history? I don't even need to explain to everyone in detail what happened, because many people have already learned by now. All four people in that case are dead and gone. You militant black separatists make me sick with this fucked up ideology. Do you understand the reasons why some black men choose to date interracially, Donald? Or better yet, why people in general choose to do so? It's for a number of reasons. They may be attracted to certain features on a person. The two may have similar interests and values. It may be because he or she feels the other person could potentially be a great fit and an asset to their life and well-being. In my case, it could be something she's wearing, and I may choose to use that as an icebreaker to enter a conversation. Another reason could be because I was in the right place at the right time, fancied whatever woman I laid eyes on, and decided to take a chance and go for it. It may also be the fact it seems that single quality sisters, beautiful, mature, got the right head on their shoulders, etc., are very hard to find, and women of other races fill in the void and make up for that deficit. Moreover, some black men have had unsavory experiences with black women, especially since too many of them, at least the ones here in America, have fractured morals. In addition, it could be a combination of two or more of those things, and that's pretty much it. But the number one reason, however, as to why people interracially date is to combat and strike down the concept of racism. In essence, society is generally more accepting of interracial pairings, be it black white, white Asian, black Hispanic, etc., without said couples facing widespread scrutiny or breaking the law or even fearing for their lives. Those are the main reasons as to why people of different races choose to intermingle with each other, Donald dipshit. Unfortunately for you, it seems you fail to understand that by bringing up this Emmett Till shit. As if that's supposed to have anything directly to do with us living in the 21st century. Hell, I'm surprised you didn't bring up the Get Out movie. Oh, God help you if you did that, you obnoxious, delusional, reprehensible, good-for-nothing sack of shit. Though I will say this. Yes, I do agree that the Emmett Till incident was horrible and should have never happened. As a kid, he didn't deserve what happened to him because he was just a kid. But what does that have to do with the way the current state of the world and the current society is? There is zero connection. Every individual currently living has the right to date, marry, sleep with, or have kids with whomever they want. With all that said, let's continue.
See, we forget history, we forget life.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Newsflash, shithead. This is not the 1950s anymore. We are not living in our grandparents' time. Get with today and get a fucking grip, why don't you?
And now it becomes this mess that we're in. And I'm not saying that as a man, you can't get with a white woman as a black man. I'm not saying you can't. You can get with her if you want.
Oh, now you're telling us we can get with white women. As if we require your permission to do so? I swear, dude, you are so full of shit, it's not even funny.
You full of shit. You understand that? You full of shit.
I'm not saying if you're a black woman, you can't do your so-called divesting and swirling business. I don't really care what you do. It has nothing to do with me.
If it has nothing to do with you, then why are you acting as if it does? Why are you even bringing it up to begin with? Fucking hypocrite. Just for saying that horse shit, as well as trying to use Emmett Till as a means to try and scare people out of loving whomever they want, I ought to beat your motherfucking ass. But before I proceed with doing so, let me show you what Ringo said in another video.
Again, it's one thing if you're a brother and you have a particular preference of what you don't like or this and that. At the end of the day, I don't really think men have a preference. I think all of that is BS. I think that if a brother see a sister and she fine, whether she's black, white, green, yellow, red, that. A beautiful woman is a beautiful woman. You know, you could be a brother and, you know what I'm saying, an Asian chick could be fine to you, a white woman could be fine to you, a black woman could be fine to you. It doesn't matter what woman is. It's all based on what that woman have that really interests you at the end of the day.
Now, granted, you certainly have a good point on which I strongly agree with. Beautiful women are beautiful women, and men are free to choose whoever they want to get with, and vice versa. But nonetheless, you still more or less flip-flopped and contradicted yourself. You are what is known as a fucking hypocrite. In the words of Alanis Morissette, isn't it ironic? Hey Bender, hit this goofy mofo with some truth.
The use of words expressing something other than their literal intention. Now that is irony.
And now, without further ado, let's go ahead and beat the brakes off this motherfucker.
Damn! Don't you goddamn it! Get some, motherfucker!
No. Please, that's me.
Fuck out of here! Talk shit now, huh, motherfucker? The fuck up! Come on! Fuck! Now what, motherfucker? Now what? I'm gonna fucking kill your ass! Say something now, motherfucker!
All right, that's enough, brother.
Pull out your goddamn knife!
That's enough. Come on. That's enough.
Kill that motherfucker!
Come on,
Everybody
boy.
in this motherfucker!
Come on.
Let me go, Kirby! Let me go!
You already beat him. Come on now. Oh, shit. Come on, let's go get some air.
You fucking hell, let me go. That's game.
Bet you won't say that shit again. Anyway, let's continue.
But my point is, look at where we came from, the transatlantic slave trade. Do you understand how many generations and
Shut when you think about it.
Nobody cares anymore. Next!
They're gone. They really don't have no sense of purpose. They don't realize that this life is a very short life. We really have to get to work. We have a lot of work to do, and we busy playing games.
No, it's only a quote-unquote very short life to you, sir. More than likely, you're delusional as hell if you would say some shit like this. Dogs live a short life. The same amount of years in the age of a human in high school would equate to just about the end of that of a dog's lifespan. So you mean to tell me us humans only have 15 years to live?
Shut your lame ass up, nigga.
Oh, and on a side note, in another video Ringo did, which I can't find at the moment, he made a similar statement, something along the lines of, we only have a limited or short time on this planet. If that ain't the most narrow-minded statement I've ever heard, seriously, I hate that saying. Reason being is that it sounds so discouraging and daunting. One thing that's often described as being around for only a limited time is either coupons or discounts on items in the store, be it food, clothes, electronics, etc. So, what I'm getting from Ringo from this we're only here for a limited time jazz is we have the lifespan of a dog, or even worse, a mayfly. I would agree with you if, for example, you're supposed to live until, let's say, somewhere between the age of 90 to 104, but for whatever reason, you end up dying before you even make it to 30. If you've heard the term life cut short, that's precisely what that implies. In that case, I would agree that that person only lived for a limited time. Oh, and not to mention, the way I see it personally, your time here is only limited if someone or something limits it, especially if you're young. I don't know if you've ever realized this, Ringo retard, but humans are the primary and most advanced life force on this planet. We are what causes the quality of the atmosphere to sway in the direction it's going in. But yet you're saying we're only here for a quote-unquote limited time? As if we're fucking coupons or store discounts, which literally only last for a few weeks? So that's what you're relegating us all to? A fucking coupon or discount? Boy.
Shut your bitch ass up!
They taught her you can't depend on a man. It's crazy.
Happens, he can pass away.
He can pass away. Of course, everybody's gonna pass away, ma'am.
Everybody's gonna pass away. The fuck you think this is? Armageddon? Because the only Armageddon I know of is the movie with Bruce Willis. But all jokes aside, seriously, why do you give a shit? Because I certainly don't. You act as if some giant asteroid the size of Alaska is gonna collide with the Earth within the next month or so and destroy everyone and everything on it. Are you so deeply Omega focused, dude? Because this is pathetic. I have better things to do other than waste my time worrying about dying 24/7. Evidently, you must be that eager and so diligently looking forward to pressing the shutdown button on your life so bad. Well, guess what? Unlike you, I have plenty to live for. When I wake up in the morning, there are at least 5 things I'm thinking about on a routine basis, and death and dying are not among them. These include, but are not limited to, food, music, girls, my money, and my plans for the day. And on my off days, maybe what I'm gonna watch on TV. But I am not gonna waste my day acting paranoid and shit on if I'm going to die. I mean, who does that shit? I mean, seriously. Sometimes I wonder what compels you to say stupid shit like this. Bro, you tripping, and you tripping hard.
You tripping, bro. You tripping. Stop it. Get some help.
I wonder what other dumb shit you have to say next. Mr. Ringo?
Everybody's gonna pass away. You don't know the day or the hour when you're gonna pass away.
You don't know the day or hour you're gonna pass away. Why should I? Why would I want to know when I'm going to die? The fact you're trying to attest to this with the utmost of conviction and passion is quite disturbing, to say the least. Most people don't really give a shit about the day or the hour when they will kick the bucket, because it's abnormal to do so. I guess you're not familiar with the particular human instinct that kicks in naturally. Something called survival? There are people who've survived cancer, gunshot wounds, car accidents, and so on and so forth. But yet, you talking about everyone's gonna pass away, as if the entire world population is gonna plummet all the way down to zero within the next decade, when in reality, the world's population has only kept increasing over the past quarter century, from just over 6 billion in 2000 to around 8 billion as of 2022. But concerning survival instincts, if your life is being threatened, naturally and spontaneously, you'll try desperately to stave off the threat or threats in order to survive. People have been doing so since the advent of human civilization. In general, humans are naturally and inherently programmed to survive and reproduce. The only exception in cases like this would be suicide. Typically, suicidal individuals become a threat to themselves. They have no will to live. Factors which lead to this include depression, anxiety, substance abuse, bipolar disorder, traumatic life events, and more. But under normal circumstances, nobody really gives a fuck about when they're going to die, nor do you have any say-so in the matter, Ringo. For example, let's say, hypothetically speaking, in a fake fantasy sequence I'm making up, I'm at a bar one night having a good time watching a game and trying to pick up girls, and all of a sudden some ass clown starts shooting up the place for no reason. And by some unlikely coincidence, I get caught in the gunfire, end up getting hit, and later die. So I guess by me going out to a bar to have a good time and pick up chicks, somehow I'm writing my own death certificate. But only because you said it can happen. As if you're the man up above in the skies. No, Ringo. You're just a singular entity, along with the rest of us. In other words, you ain't nobody. You're certainly not the big man upstairs. All of this is nothing but a figment of your imagination. I would have a much better chance getting struck by lightning, twice. So you really have no say in the matter. Again, Ringo, you are nobody. Nobody to dictate someone's fate. You don't play God. To support my point, I'm about to show you viewers what Ringo Retard said in a different video.
None of us is trying to make sense of our death.
Why will we be talking about or worried about our own death? You're not making no sense, Mr. White. Because you just said that pretty much nobody don't know when and nobody don't understand it. So why would we be trying to make sense of something that we can't make sense of? You're not making no logical sense. What's the matter with you? Nobody wakes up in the morning worrying about dying. If that's the case, we won't be able to live and enjoy our life.
Well, if that isn't the unstupidest thing you've said in a long time, I salute you, Ringo. You deserve a gold trophy. However, the irony I find in this is that the bizarre statement Charleston White made just now sounds almost verbatim to something you would routinely spew out of your filthy, halitosis-infested pie hole. In some of your videos, it seems you're so quick to tell your viewers things such as, we're quote-unquote only here for a limited time, and quote-unquote we're running out of time, among all the other similar junk you try to program into us. In fact, speaking of programming, I think that's exactly what you are, Ringo. Programmed. Programmed to want to hit the graveyard so quick. As the popular saying goes, you only live once. But I say, you only die once. Because technically you live every day. What I don't understand is, why are people like you seemingly so quick to rush dying? Why are you so omega focused? You should be grateful of the fact you're alive right now and not try to rush into an early grave, especially if you have no reason to. And yes, there have been people who have tried to argue with me about, oh, it's gonna happen and you can't go against facts. Well, honestly, I don't give a shit. I don't care if it's quote unquote facts or fiction. It's still inappropriate. Stop being so omega focused and shut the fuck up about dying. Because nobody's dying anytime soon, damn it.
Quit all this talk about dying. Ain't nobody getting ready to die no time soon.
Like Ice Cube said once upon a time, fuck dying. Anyway, let's continue.
Imagine getting up in the morning every day and you're worried about if you're gonna die today. You ain't gonna wanna do nothing.
He left where we all gotta leave.
What?
He through with life.
How you gonna say Takeoff is through with life? Are y'all listening to this madness? Charleston White just said that Takeoff was through with life. He's through living. Are you kidding me? How do you get to do these interviews? I mean, I'm being serious. Like, how do people even ask you to do an interview saying some nonsense like that? How you gonna say that man was through with life? He just was done. He didn't want to live no more. So let me get this straight. You saying he didn't want to live no more, but yet some other man put a bullet in his head. It's not making no sense.
Now, I will admit, you made an excellent point refuting the unusual statement Charleston White made. Nobody in the history of ever dwells upon worrying about dying on a day-to-day basis. I mean, it's just not normal to do so. Why some people insist on doing this is beyond any stretch of my personal comprehension. As I've stated before, when I wake up every morning, I am always thinking about things other than death and dying because, in a realistic sense, a person all of a sudden not waking up is not normal. Nobody dies for absolutely no reason, especially if you don't have any health problems. Now, there are very rare cases where this happens, but it's exactly that, rare. Statistically speaking, you have approximately a 1 in 100,000 chance of dying for any reason within a span of a year. Go look it up if you don't believe me. With all that said, let's continue.
But living in fear is crazy.
Living in fear is crazy. I find it quite odd you would say that when you routinely put people in fear by saying that goofy ass shit. The hell is wrong with you, you damn weirdo? You're a weird dude, you know that?
You're weird. You're a weird guy.
Anyway, I'm done talking about this narrow-minded ass clown. Peace, everyone, and have a great day.
Sit, Toro, sit. Good boy.